Good morning, everyone. My name is Donna Tucker. I'm the Chief Presiding Judge for the King County District Court, and it is my honor today to welcome you all here today for this wonderful event. And this is a celebration of several things. One is technology, the courts, and doing things well and on time. So we're here today to unveil the new case management system for the court, and also to celebrate the e-probation, which is also part of that program and will interface with the court. It has often been said of courts that they're planning to use yesterday's technology for tomorrow's solutions. That cannot be said for King County. Thanks to the people who have sponsored us, the King County Executive's Office, the King County Council, and then, of course, all of the hard work done by us. King County District Court is using today's technology for today's solutions, and we have picked a solution that will allow us to continue with tomorrow's technology for tomorrow's solutions. So this is really an incredible event for us, and I'm very happy to have all of you here. I just want to acknowledge some of the folks who are here and some who did not make it. First, I would like to acknowledge Judge Corinna Harn. Judge Harn was the presiding judge at the time the district court undertook this project, if you will. And it was her vision, her perseverance, her guidance, her energy, and her just plain hard will that got us to the point where we could do it. And then I was lucky enough to just hop in the driver's seat and just sort of try and keep us on the road and not get us off track. And so I'm sorry that she could not be here today, because I really wanted her to be a part of this, because really she was instrumental in getting us here. As well, we would not be here without the support of the King County Executive's Office, Dow Constantine. And Dow has a couple of representatives here, and his folks have also helped us. So Gail Stone is here representing Dow. So Gail, thank you for being here, and please let Dow know how much we appreciate the support that he helped us provided to get us here. Good morning. Fred Jarrett is also here. Good to see you. Awesome. And Fred has been an instrumental part of this too. I think a lot of his vision, which said we need to have government talking to each other and systems talking to each other, and we know that the system that the court has is never going to talk to anything else. And we know that some of the other systems that we have in county government are never going to talk to each other, but we need to start moving. And we really appreciate that Fred supported us in being one of the first groups to start moving forward with this technology. And we wouldn't be here without his support, both internally and externally. He's also done a lot of work at AOC to try and help us ride through the storms of what happens when we say we can't wait for AOC to put in a new system. And so Fred's been an awesome support for us in that way too. And then this morning as well, we have the current Chief of Technology for King County, Hannah. And Tanya is new to working with the court, but she comes from the King County IT department, and they have also been an instrumental partner in working with us to make sure that our project gets done. And so I also want to thank her. Today as well, I just want to recognize that Councilmember Lambert is here, and in a few minutes I'm going to ask her to come up and to make a few comments, because I know that she has a lot to say about technology, and her passion for the court and the court moving forward in technology is really inspiring to us and has been very supportive. So what I'd like to say as well before I step down is, well, I need to recognize my judges too. All right, judges. So as a part of this process, we have a number of judges with us. There are 25 judges, and all of the 25 judges voted in 20 2014, at the beginning of 2014, to move forward with a new case management system without waiting for the state to provide us a new solution. And it was a unanimous vote by all of the judges of the King County District Court in 2014 that started us on this path. The judges that are here today represent judges who are on the executive committee of the court. Judge K2 Shaw is here, Judge Shaw. Judge Lisa O'Toole is an East Division judge, and she works here at the Issaquah Courthouse on occasion. Judge Elizabeth Stephenson has been instrumental in working with the case management judge team, working on developing forms, procedures, process, helping get the system set up so that it would run efficiently. And she keeps us all laughing too. Judge Art Chapman has been working since the very beginning of our project. We first put him on helping us clean up cases. We had old cases that we needed to deal with, and Judge Chapman has been instrumental in helping us do that. And he also has served on the executive committee of the court, and he is now working on the CMS team, helping to develop the forms and practices. Judge Peter Nault is here, and Judge Nault works at this courthouse, and he is one of the first users of the system. I heard him this morning saying, I could do this work all day long. It is so simple. If I don't have to do a bunch of orders, it's good. But I heard him, and the staff tell me he's loving it too, all right? And just a little secret, everybody was a little bit worried about him because, you know, he's a senior member of the bench, okay? And so there were those of us who had fears about the senior members of the bench and their ability to adapt to new technologies. But no worries, this guy's doing great, and hopefully we can get him to help the other senior members see how wonderful it is as we roll it out further. Judge Janet Garrow is here. She is the assistant presiding judge for the court. And Judge Garrow is instrumental as the chair of the CMS judge team, working on setting up processes and procedures for us. And thank you, Judge Garrow, for your guidance and work. We also have with us today Judge Ann Harper. Judge Harper is also one of the judges currently working on the system out of the Seattle courthouse. And her feedback about what's going on, she helped us catch a little glitch the first day. It's been really awesome to have people who are willing to step up and to say, hey, here's what we have. Let's take a look at this. So thank you, Judge Harper, for being here and working in the system. And then last but not least is Judge Anderson. Marcine Anderson is also the West Division presiding judge, and she works on the she is the judge for the West Division of the West Division of the King County District Court. So thank you all for being here today. And would you give them a hand? So the last thing I would like to say here today is that it is entirely appropriate for us to celebrate public service and the thoughtful people who have chosen to serve as employees of the King County District Court. The employees of the King County District Court really care deeply about the mission of the court's interaction with the public, our access to people, providing fairness and justice. And it is all of the employees. Every one of them has had a part in us getting to today. And they symbolize what is good and decent about the King County government and our courts. I had Judge Eide, who is not here. I need to mention Judge Eide. Mark Eide cannot be with us here today, but he has also worked on the CMS team. And he said something to me the other day that really got me thinking about this. And he said, you know, people say, oh, you work for the government, really? You know, like, and he goes, no, it is an honor. What we do as a government for the people is incredible. The fact that our court has pulled this off, you know, that we have had the leadership of Othniel and Enrique and everybody in this court is just a testament to the character of the people who serve the court, not because they have to, but because they have a passion for what they bring. So with that, I'm going to turn it over and let Councilmember Lambert say a few words, and thank you.
Thank you. This is a very exciting day, and it's about teamwork, and it's about change, and it's about service. And so I want to talk about each one of those. Many years ago, about 20 years ago, Justice Guy said, Representative Lambert is public enemy #1 of the courts, because I believed at that time that every judge should have a computer, and they did not think any judge should have a computer. That is not for judges to have. And so we've come a long way from that idea of no judge having a computer. Can you imagine not having a computer anymore? So I'm glad I'm no longer public enemy #1. So it's very exciting to see this. And I really, really respect all of you, the clerks, the judges, the technical people who came together and said, we can do this. I was with Judge Harn, and I'm really sorry also that she's not here today. I was with her when we went down to the Supreme Court and talked to the justices about the fact that the King County system is being held together pretty much with baling wire, bubble gum, and duct tape, and it cannot continue. And they told us that this would be about the year 2030 when this rolled out. 2030. So we got in the car and we said 2030 can't be. We won't be able to survive that long. And on the way back, she says, we have to do it on our own. And we talked about doing it on our own. And then on our own meant all of you and all of you, everybody together making this happen. With the help of Journal Technologies, you're setting the pattern for the entire country probably, because we're going to roll it out and the rest of the state's going to want it, and then the whole country's going to want it because of your vision and the ability to work together and to not be afraid. Technology is going to change things for the better if we use it and we don't be afraid of it. So that's really exciting. So I want to say that I'm very happy for each one of you. I'm glad you love your computers, and I'm glad that we are here to do it together. This won't be the end. I actually went to 4 Quarter the Future conferences and got lots of ideas. I didn't go the last 2 years because I wanted people to catch up with what the last ones I went to had, but I'm sure that once this rolls out, we'll go as a team to Quarter the Future, and who knows what the future looks like. So I'd like you to all say together, this is not 2030. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, well, we came here for an unveiling, but before I do that, Senior Deputy Fred Jarrett, is there any comments that you wanted to make today? I know this is sort of impromptu, but all right. So I want to call forward folks to help us unveil the system. And judges, why don't you come on up here, and we'll get judges up here. Othniel, who is our Chief Administrative Officer. Othniel, come on up. Enrique, who's our Head of IT, why don't you come up? Let's see. Councilmember Lambert, do you and Councilmember Balducci want to come up? Fred, would you want to come up and help us unveil too? And Kanani, our project manager. Come on up, Kanani. And then Denise Ferguson. Denise is our clerk here in Issaquah, who's working on the system. She won the lottery to represent all of the clerks here today. 1, 2, 3. At this time, I'm going to ask Othniel Palomino. He has a lot of people he wants to recognize and thank, so Othniel.
Yeah, so what I wanted to do today is just give you sort of a very abbreviated history of what happened over the last 3.5 years. About April of 2014, Judge Harn, who was the presiding judge at the time, asked a group of us to create a proposal to send to the executive's office for our system. And at the time, it was just, we had 3 training coordinators and 8 members of the leadership team. And there was no dedicated staff, there was no funding to do anything. So we just started to have day-to-day meetings, daily meetings. The goal was to have it for a week, We ended up doing it for about 14 months because we just kept running into one roadblock after another. But we were able to provide the knowledge and the support to make the proposal happen. It was accepted and approved by the executive and ultimately by the King County Council. And we thought that we would disband the team and create a new team after that, but that wasn't what happened. We realized that rather than going out and getting consultants to do the work, that we had all the knowledge and all the experience and the institutional infrastructure within the court to actually make this happen. And so we went out, the 3 training coordinators who were not technologists, I don't know what they did, they must have gone on the internet or something, but they figured out how to, and we coached them a little bit, but it took a lot of initiative. They figured out how to do process mapping, and we just looked at the state of art, like what is the latest and greatest research on how to do process mapping. They took it, they got 5 judges, 25 clerks and probation officers, and we mapped every single process in the court as a starting point to figure out where we were going to go. Subsequent to that, we were able to then use that process map to create a set of requirements, and we went out to bid. When the bids came back, we're trying to figure out how do we evaluate and judge these bids. And we could have kept the same small group to look at the bids, but what we decided to do was to get about 75 people from within the court, our clerks, our probation officers, our judges, in some instances, some of the lawyers from the bar, to come in and help us make this choice, because this is, for us, a historic choice. It's possibly the most important decision that we're going to make in our careers here at the court. And so we took the village, we bought the village. Some of the vendors were sort of either amused or amazed or intimidated by the number of people that were there to hear and view their demonstrations. We formalized the process, and we got great feedback from our staff. I'm truly thankful for the feedback that we received. From then, we chose Journal Technologies. They were that provided the best solution for our court. And we had to figure out then, how do we move forward? And rather than just creating a technical team, we got feedback that the court locations wanted to be engaged in the process. So we created this program called our Ambassadors Program. And we were able to get over 25 people, probation officers, clerks, people in the management from each location, to come and provide feedback, to tell us what was going on. And what was going on wasn't necessarily about the technology, because at that point, we hadn't really started the configuration yet. It's what was going on with the people. And that was a really helpful set of advisors to our project, the 25 ambassadors that we got. As we started the configuration process with Journal, we had to figure out what should be configured. And again, rather than going out and getting outside experts, we realized that we had the expertise within the walls of our courthouses. And we were able to get about 20 power users who came in and told us, what they needed and what they didn't want. Because sometimes, Steve Jobs says the most important decisions that you make are the things that you decide not to do. And they told us what they didn't want as well. And that was very helpful in terms of determining how we were going to move forward. As we were proceeding, again, we had another choice. And I guess you'll see the theme here. Should we go out and hire a company to do the training for the staff? Because we've gotten a lot of feedback that there's a lot of fear about what this implementation meant to the individuals within the court. And so we tapped our training coordinators and told them that they were going to have to create training for everyone, and they'd never been creators of this type of training, and that we would give them minimum amount of infrastructure, but they dedicated full time to do it. And by the way, we wanted it in 90 days. And they just, sort of waded in and did it, and we were able to get lightweight training. The nice thing about a short deadline is that you can't write volumes of binders that sit in the desk that nobody ever reads. And so it forced us to make the choices about how to proceed. How could we do something lightweight that was very, very useful? And I would give them an A+. They did a wonderful, wonderful job of creating this training. And we started the training in July. And all of the court management, we told the court managers at the 3 courthouse locations, we're going to take all of your staff, but we expect you to do everything that you do anyway. And they figured it out. You know, they figured out how to keep the court operating while we trained everyone. You know, the judges, you know, there's a lot of worry that the bench was not going to be happy that there's no staff to help them. And, you know, they were wonderful in terms of the support that they provided. They understood, and they made it happen. You know, from the public's perspective, they didn't know that, you know, half the staff was gone half the time. So that was great. And in the instance, and while we were doing this for e-court, e-probation was happening, but we had no staff at e-probation, right? And so with the help of Journal, they provided us a great amount of assistance in doing this. But Judy Garcia and Catherine Thompson became technology program and development managers. You know, job tasks that probably wasn't in the job description a year earlier, and they just decided that they were going to make it happen, that they were doers, that they weren't going to be intimidated by taking on a task that they had no training in, but had a vision for the outcome that they wanted for their probation officers. And the other thing that we didn't realize, that we were going to be one of the first implementations of a probation department. And so when that data came, it didn't intimidate them at all. They just went ahead and they did it. They made it happen. We were able to launch our e-probation system on October 9th, you know, before we got e-court. And that was a wonderful testament to them. So overall, when we were done, we had, I just counted up the number of judges who were actively involved. We had 13 judges who were actively involved at some point in this project. That's more than half of our bench. And they did this while they, just like everyone else, while they had to do their day jobs. Their day jobs did not change. And so that was wonderful. We had over 140 probation officers, clerks, and managers who were involved in this, 140 people that helped us make this happen. And again, the entire management team, every single one of our managers were either involved in helping us process map, train, you know, and in addition, they kept the court operational, kept this from being visible to the public. It was just a wonderful thing. And I also want to thank the union, Suzette Dickerson and everyone at the union. They were time skeptical, but they kept the conversation going. And we were able to work through all the issues that we had. And I just want to thank them for that. I also want to recognize Jerry Saltzman and Chris Forsland and, sorry, I forgot, and David Cry from Journal Technologies. You know, they've been a wonderful partner as we've gone through this. We can at times be a somewhat demanding customer, and that's just who we are. But they have always put their best foot forward, and we're truly grateful for the effort that they have put into this project. And I just, you know, and I hope I don't forget anyone here, just wanted to also thank the core CMS team that has been with us for the last year and a half, putting their hearts and their souls and their weekends and their lives into making this a reality for us. I want to thank Enrique, Kanani, Jessica, Kathleen, Ann, Kate, Craig, Gabe, Ken, Tony, Kevin, Byron, Carl, Whitney, Krista, Patty, Andrea, Mel, Serena. I'm running out of steam here. But I just want to thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for all the hard work that you've done. You've taken on challenges that you weren't trained for. You have put everything that you had forward for the best interest of the court, and more importantly, for the best interest of the public that we serve. And that really means a lot to me. I just want to thank you for that. And I know I have only 5 minutes, so I'll probably end here. So just thank you all.
Well-deserved. Thank you, Othniel, for leading this wonderful group of public servants. Thank you very much. So we've started e-probation. We've started phase 1 civil. We have a couple more phases to complete. So we're not yet done. And we also understand that excellence is not a destination, that it's a continuous journey that never ends. So we will continue to improve what we have. We've been telling each other that all along. It's like we're going to continue to improve. We have more to add, and I'm sure that it will happen. One of the most wonderful things, and if you haven't seen it, the King County Television did a really nice little video for us about what it means for having the new CMS, and if you haven't watched it, you should watch it. You can find it on our website. But it talks about e-filing, which is one of the most wonderful things. Judge Stephenson, how many pieces of paper do we scan in a year?
2,429,000 pieces of paper.
This court has scanned 2,429,000 pieces of paper in a year. So that many pieces of paper have been filed with us. Our clerks had to scan it into our electronic files. We won't need that anymore. We have e-filing. We have e-filing. E-filing is here, so as I like to tell people, we're not done yet, and let's let the e-filing begin. Thank you.